Hi everyone, it's Mackie here in the far reaches of the Arctic Circle. We're actually 350 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle, and it is a stunning location. I mean, I've been standing here this morning watching a couple of sea eagles playing up just above me in the sky, and you know, just waiting for an orca to breach out here to see. Yeah, that would be the icing on the cake. But we're here for landscape photography, and I've got to admit, it's been a struggle this week. We've had nothing but rain and gloom and gray. It's not really conducive for great landscapes, but you know, last night we had a break in the weather system and we were out shooting auroras. This morning, absolutely stunning light on the mountains first thing. So I brought you up here to do a little panoramic. And one thing you got to remember when you're out shooting anything in the evening before and you've pumped those ISOs way up, make sure you reset those back down to 100 or whatever your low ISO is. So I've already made that adjustment, and let me take you through what I've done here this morning. So this range of mountains here overlooking the sea really lends itself for panoramics. And with my Gitzo tripod, my Series 3 tripod, I've got a leveling base on it, which if you're not familiar with this, guys, it's fantastic. Now there are other things you can do. You can get, other than a leveling base, you can get it's called a reverse ball head basically, which essentially does the same thing. So you're not jockeying the legs around on uneven ground all the time. All I have to do is just loosen that up, and this whole thing pivots around. Got a spirit level here, and there, it's done. Now you've got to level the camera. So I can just look at my hot shoe, spirit level there, it's done. Now if I pan this around, the bubble on top doesn't move, so I know I'm completely level, and that's going to stitch together really easily in post. So I'm going to compose this. I've got this really nice rocky foreground, foreshore here, and I'm going to shoot 4 exposures. Now, do I shoot horizontal shots or verticals? It's up to you. In this situation, the light's changing very quickly, so I want to get the series shot as quickly as possible. So I'm going to use horizontal stitches. So usually about 4 shots. If I'm doing a vertical pan, yeah, you're looking at about 7 to 9 shots. And I want to create a little bit of motion to the, well, a lot of motion actually. I want to smooth this water out. I'm going to do both just to see how it looks. But I prefer that misty, ethereal look around water scenes like this. So let's go ahead and do the series, starting right there on this mountain here. What I'm going to do here is set it to aperture priority. So I don't have a great deal of foreground here, so I'm going to use the optimal aperture of f8. I'm going to make an exposure there. Check my histogram. Beautiful. Okay, now I'm using a 3-stop medium grad. Now a medium transition ND grad is going to come down right to the top of the mountains. I can come slightly into them. It gives the medium transition grad gives you a little bit more of a bite than, say, a soft grad, where you'd have to pull it right down to the mountains. You're not going to get any really fine line definition on the clouds then. So pull it right there, and remember, I'm going to take a picture of my finger first. That's the first part of our series. So that's a 25th of a second at f8. Let's set that to manual. Set it to a 25th of a second. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just shoot 1 for good measure. And then, so we've got something to play with at the end. That looks great. Nice sky. Okay, so a 25th of a second. That's my my still series, but I want to add a little bit of motion to the water, as I mentioned before. So let's get my big stopper. All right, okay, so our base exposure was a 25th of a second at f8. So on my scale, on the big stopper, 30th of a second is 30 seconds. That's close enough. Let's do that. We're gonna slot that in with the foam backing towards the lens. Carefully push that in, it slides in there nice. Okay, we're on manual focus. Make sure that you remember to put it on manual focus, otherwise with the big stopper, it's gonna sit there and try to find it, and you're gonna think, why are my pictures blurry? So we've put that in manual focus. Let's just tighten that down. Okay. Let's let the first one go. Now the other thing is, last night, as I mentioned, I was shooting auroras. I had my noise reduction on. Now for doing scenes like this, I choose to shut the noise reduction off because I'm doing a 30-second exposure. That means that if I have noise reduction on, I've got to wait 30 seconds for that to write to the card. In that time, these clouds are moving, which is going to look maybe a little bit strange when you try to stitch these together. So I've shut the noise reduction off. That's my first shot. And that's number 2. Now what I'm doing is about a 1/3 overlap of the scene. So it has plenty to actually stitch together. That's my second one, and I need 2 more. These clouds are looking great. I feel that this is going to be a fantastic day for photography. Makes up for the whole week of rain. You know, we've got light snow. I can see off in the distance here we've got some snowstorms coming through, which can add a lot of drama to this. We've got some beautiful light coming just over this mountain here. That's number 2. Okay, right there is number 3. And the clouds are breaking up. We've got some good texture to the skies. So one thing you got to be careful of around these roads are those fish lorries. The industry up here is mainly fishing, and they love to barrel down these little roads. So you got to stay out of their way. They don't stop for anything. Okay, next. Okay, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4? Yep, last one. And that should be good. And then remember, take a picture of your hand. You don't need to sit there with 30 seconds though. Just take the big stopper out and just quickly shoot something that separates it from the rest of your shoot. Okay, there we go. That's good. Excellent. Okay, we're done. So now I'll stitch that together later in Lightroom, and you'll see that at the end of the video. So now, as photographers, you've got to determine when you arrive at a scene like this, what actually stands out the most. Is it a panoramic? Is it a vertical? Is it a horizontal? Is it all of those? On this, immediately, I saw a panoramic on here. That's going to be the strongest composition in this situation. So sometimes situations don't lend itself for the other orientations. So you've got to make that choice quickly and set up your gear and accomplish that image. So I hope you like the image at the end of this video. And we're going to go on further up into the mountains to get some more video shot for you today. So thanks for joining me for this one. If you haven't subscribed to us, please do so now. Hit those like buttons, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye for now.